Chapter 1 Revelation. One day in the frost of winter, a man called Gray was playing the ultimate game of his life. The guild knew nothing of the secret identity of Gray, for though he had laid many clues, his friend Misty was oblivious to the trickster. For Gray was indeed a man in real life. His on-screen gaming persona was as a woman named Vegan. A beautiful druid elf was his main character, and in the chat rooms he'd often refer things to do with the women, such as clothes, fashion, and boys in a sexual way. For a certain character he befriended, this was lovely and intriguing for Misty. Misty, of Arabic origin, who was a bit overweight, was seated in his much too squishy bed, engaged in the World of Warcraft, trying to piece together the puzzle. Most of his days was spent gaming or studying to be a teacher. He was quite chubby, but that didn't bother him. He loved being able to laze around and just work his mind and creativity. That, or watch reality shows.
Hey Vegan, what's up today? Looks like there's new content. Yep, Misty, and I'd be happy to explore them with you, in private.
Gray stifled his laughter as the charade went on. Gray was a manager working in a world of uptight colleagues. He was quite serious and cold as a person, but online, it was his time to play, and man, it was going to be so great when he found out Gray was in fact a manly man.
Sounds good. I just have one question.
Misty left Gray hanging, and suddenly the doorbell rang, making Gray reluctantly get out of his chair to investigate. Hi there, I have a package for you. The postman delivered a small box and left, leaving Gray wondering what it could be. He opened the box and out popped blue streamers and balloons saying, "It's a boy." What in the world? Gray went back to his computer to find Misty laughing at him. Misty remembered a conversation he'd eavesdropped in during the chat. "He's as good as ever," another guild member joked, making Gray laugh slightly. What he didn't notice, of course, was the change in facial expression of Misty. In front of a completely different computer screen was the student, growing confused about the guild member's words. He? But was Vegan not a she? Did Vegan not make it clear 2 months ago that he was indeed a female? "Did you see that?" Gray asked as he laughed out loud.
Yup, took me a while, but you're not a girl, are ya?
Misty replied.
Nope, I'm not. Who told you? Not giving away my secrets.
Misty typed coyly. Misty had talked to a few of Gray's friends and shared his suspicions, and in fact, many of them had tried to ask Gray whether he was a woman, but he'd never confirmed it. Misty was sure though, and he couldn't believe Gray had pulled it off this long. Gray had given clues in his mannerisms because, like it or not, it was a huge feat for a guy to behave like a girl for weeks on end. There were slight mishaps like Gray saying, "Mate, I really need a beer. Getting together with the boys tonight," which would have been slightly suspicious, but it was made even more when Gray had deleted the message. Gray had been giving small clues purposefully, and he loved flirting with Misty just to imagine him hoping that he had a chance. Fine then, this means war, Gray thought. The two guys became friends over the few years since Misty had bested Gray at his little game. Their gaming skills were highly matched, so mostly their relationship was via games like Trine, Hearthstone, and Among Us. Gray had joined Tinder one day, and he had surprisingly found Misty as a bisexual, which Gray had immediately begun teasing him about. "So Misty, guess who I found out on Tinder today?" Gray had typed one day.
Wait, are you saying you found my profile on Tinder?
Misty replied. "Yup, and man, I didn't know you were bisexual. Have you ever had a way with a man before?" Gray typed, wiggling his eyebrows suggestively.
Haha, well, not in that way, but I have been with a man before. I guess anal sex is hard, so it kinda takes practice, if you get my meaning. Anyway, yeah, I am bisexual. Hope that's okay.
Misty held his breath as Gray was typing a response.
Yeah, mate, that's fine. I'll obviously be teasing you for all the years to come, though, and, I'll be looking to set you up someday.
Gray responded, much to Misty's relief. Misty may or may not have a slight crush on Gray. He was a fun dude, and it made his life much more brighter and more social. He really needed to get out of the house more. Chapter 2: Temptation. One day, the two decided on a small game, as Misty found out that his slightly older friend used Tinder. He found it amusing, and they both had the great idea of making competition out of it, testing both of their flirting skills in a game they created themselves. The game consisted of nothing other than Gray opening the Tinder app on his smartphone and showing his screen to Misty while they were on a call with each other. Both of them decided on which people to swipe right and who they would give a swipe left. Of course, only women showed up on Gray's feed, as he was straighter as a stick, much to Misty's disapproval, of course, to which again, Gray teased a lot.
Okay, I think we got enough matches for now, so let's text them ladies,
Gray said, switching from his suggestions to his messages and checking out his matches on the top. Misty stopped Gray from scrolling as he spotted a cute brunette who was smiling innocently on the picture.
Stop, she's cute, so let's message her.
Gray opened the chat and waited for Misty to come up with a pickup line.
Okay, so let's show me your best pickup line.
There was a few seconds of silence until the student spoke up.
Okay, so are you French? Because I fell for you.
Gray snorted at this, but either way he typed it and sent the female the message. He checked for another match and found the perfect female to message next.
Listen, you can't beat this,
Gray begun, and slowly typed his pickup line in the bar.
Hey, my name's Microsoft. Can I crash at your place tonight? Bro, that one is so bad,
Misty exclaimed and let out a laugh, finding Gray's words rather amusing.
Well, let's show me if you can do better then.
Gray challenged Misty, and the two began a heated battle and started messaging all of their matches, with the hope of having an even better pickup line than their competitor.
There's something wrong with my cell phone. It doesn't have your number in it. If I could rearrange the alphabet, I'd put you and I together. I must be a snowflake because I've fallen for you.
Aside from being sexy, what do you do for a living? The two stopped for a while when Misty complained.
Why are you always so sexual, dude? There's no way you'll get laid if you only keep being sexual. As if a woman would fall for your soft lines. They don't like no gay softies like you.
Gray countered, hitting a nerve of Misty, making his younger friend counter back immediately.
I'm not gay. I told you so many times that I'm bi. As if I care. Sucking dick is gay, period.
Both males huffed, but eventually got back to their original game, continuing to throw multiple pickup lines, one worse than the other.
If you were a transformer, you'd be Optimus Fine. Baby, if you were words on a page, you'd be fine print. I must be in a museum because you truly are a work of art. It's a good thing I have my library card because I am totally checking you out. I was wondering if you had an extra heart because mine was stolen. Something's wrong with my eyes because I can't get them off you. Did the sun come out or did you just smile at me? I'd like to take you out to the movies, but they don't let you bring in your own snacks. Is there an airport nearby, or was that just my heart taking off? You and I are like nachos with jalapenos. I'm super cheesy, you're super hot, and we both belong together.
They both let out a laugh.
Okay, that one was good. Now I'm hungry,
Misty exclaimed after hearing Greg's last pickup line.
So basically, my pickup line worked and I won, right?
The elder manager smirked, obviously teasing the younger.
No, that's unfair, and it doesn't work like that. My lines were obviously better.
The Arabic student spat back, not letting this sit on him. They were actively bickering back and forth, not letting each other admit who had the better pickup lines. After what seemed like an eternity, the two calmed and agreed on a tie.
Well, I haven't eaten lunch, I suppose,
Misty responded from his bed. Gray grinned at his response and proceeded to go on Uber Eats on his phone, laptop, and iPad all at the same time, ordering the same glorious food item.
Hey, don't grab lunch, cause I sent something to you from Uber Eats,
Gray typed.
Oh, sweet. Thanks, man. What is it?
Misty was intrigued. He hoped it was burgers. He'd been craving them recently.
Oh, you'll find out. It's a little surprise present for me. Trust me. You need it.
Gray typed, with a mischievous grin. He definitely knew Misty did need the nutritious lunch he was going to bombard him with. However, he wasn't sure how his friend would feel about all that green. Gray got out his phone, iPad, and computer to place 3 Uber Eats orders at the same time.
This is going to be great,
Gray thought as he ordered Misty's most healthiest meal of all time.
It'll be there in 20 or so minutes, Misty. I'll see you soon.
Gray shut off his laptop and began packing his stuff. He was excited to meet his online friend, and judging by what he knew, he was going to find out lots of secrets that he could tease Misty about in the future. 20 minutes later, Misty got up to answer the door with a smile, only to find a single garden salad in the paper bag. A garden salad from Carlucci's for Misty? The Uber Eats driver smiled before walking away. Misty stood there confused for a while, before shrugging and entering his home again. He knew that Gray was well aware that he wasn't a health nut. But what the hell? A salad would do him good, though he'd been quite hungry later on. Misty sat down with his salad and took the first bite. Surprisingly refreshing. It wasn't like he was going to turn vegan or anything, but Gray sometimes did weird stuff like this. Before Misty could take his second bite, the doorbell rang again, and Misty, thinking it was Gray, excitedly opened the door, only to find a delivery person at the door, carrying, you guessed it, a single serve of garden salad.
Thanks, mate.
Misty shut the door, shaking his head with a smile. This was yet another trick by Gray. He knew it. He just hoped there wasn't going to be 10 delivery people coming to his door today. Before he could even sit down, the doorbell rang again, and a Menulog deliverer was standing there with a grin. Here's your garden salad, my man.
Thanks.
Misty frowned after she left and tossed all the salads in one big bowl. This was the healthiest meal in his life. His ears pricked up for more intrusions, but thankfully, it seemed 3 garden salads was all he would get today. Thank goodness. Misty checked the living room again to make sure it was as clean and presentable as possible. He didn't have people over much at all, and he'd put much effort and sweat into cleaning the house. Perhaps after Gray came in, they could go somewhere else, the park or a cafe or anywhere else that wasn't the slight pigsty that was Misty's house. Gray checked that he had the right address and texted Misty that he was outside before taking a deep breath and knocking on the door.
Hey, Gray, I presume?
Misty answered the door. Thankfully, it wasn't another garden salad.
Yo, did you get your lunch?
Gray chuckled.
Haha, yes, I did. Though I feel sorry for those poor delivery people traveling all the way here to deliver a measly salad.
Well, salads can be amazing. You never know. They could be epic. Gray said with enthusiasm, making Misty grin.
So, you want to come in?
Misty opened the door wider and hoped Gray wasn't offended by the contents of his house.
Nice digs you got here. Hey, your computer's sweet.
Gray pointed out. Of course, that was what he would see first.
Yeah, well, we are gamers.
Misty smiled, trying not to stare. Gray was wearing a fitted shirt that made his biceps stick out and black jeans which looked sexy as hell. However, he knew Gray was definitely straight. But hey, a guy could dream. Misty himself was wearing his cleanest shirt. It was maroon and had dark flower patterns on it. and navy three-quarter shorts.
Well, this is something.
There was silence, and both guys began laughing at the awkwardness.
Yeah, I know it isn't much. I live alone and I'm studying, so this was all I could afford.
Sure, look, it's all cool, man. Gray sat down on the couch and patted the spot next to him.
So, did my little salad prank change your eating ways?
Gray asked with a smirk.
The salad wasn't actually that bad. It made me eat greens, that's for sure. And against popular belief, I don't mind the odd vegetable here and there.
Misty replied easily. He wasn't going to be intimidated by Gray's pranks. However, he just wished that he knew how to prank him back. Chapter 3. Penetration.
So I know this is embarrassing, but I actually have to go to the bathroom. I took public transport here and yeah, it was a bit of a journey.
Gray admitted, standing up.
Sure thing, mate. It's just down the hall and to the left, first door.
Misty's heart rate rose. Knowing he hadn't necessarily cleaned the bathroom, he just hoped it wouldn't look disgusting. Gray stood up, and Misty, trailing behind, and stopped in fright as Gray gasped, stepping back with a look of horror in his face.
Is that a dildo?
Gray bit out, stepping back more.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. I'll just put that away. I'm so sorry. Oh God.
Misty stuttered as he raced into the bathroom, trying to put the dildo quickly off the wall. It was stuck on quite strongly on the shower wall, and yes, he did use the dildo for practice as a bottom. The dildo was bright blue and smooth, 6-inch.
Oh Christ, this is so embarrassing,
Misty muttered as he shoved the dildo in the drawer. He wasn't looking forward to facing Gray, but he needed to apologize. That is, if Gray hadn't already ran out of the house. Misty turned back to find Gray laughing slightly. The awkwardness was palpable, and the two stood in silence for a minute.
Well, you practice with that?
Gray asked slowly.
Yeah, I just, I know I haven't been with a man before in a sexual relationship, and a couple of my friends said it was a good idea to practice,
Misty said with his head down. Oh man, that's hilarious. Oh dear, did you just forget to put that away? Gray asked.
Honestly, I didn't think we'd be spending a whole heap of time here. I thought we'd just go out. And God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you had to see that.
Misty trailed off, his face red as a tomato.
Mate, it's done. I've seen it. I won't tell anyone, I promise.
But man, get ready for me to tease you forever. Gray laughed, doubling over. Misty laughed after a while, knowing he would never live this down.
Ah well, that could have gone worse,
Misty thought.
Would you like to show me how to use that thing? I mean, I know logically, I just haven't seen anyone, man, use that.
Gray had a slight blush on his cheeks as he asked Misty. The dildo intrigued him, and well, even though he'd only met the guy, they had been friends for years.
Well, you just put lube and you ease into the anus. I've just been using it to stretch it out because, it can be painful. The key is to inch in slowly,
Misty giggled, embarrassed.
Wow, you are very committed. I can't imagine having that thing inside me. Does it feel good then, Misty?
Gray wiggled his eyebrows suggestively.
Yeah, I guess it does. That's why I practice, so that when I be with a man, it'll feel more enjoyable as a bottom.
Misty's cheeks were flushed, and he looked at Gray cheekily.
Can I kiss you, Gray?
Misty asked, giving him a second to think before he leaned in and gave Gray a peck on the lips. Gray found himself responding for a second, and it didn't feel half bad, but he knew he was definitely straight. Misty was panting excitement from the kiss. Even if they never did anything of the sort again, he was glad he experienced it.
Do you want me to show you how I use this thing then?
Misty asked. Gray simply nodded his head in intrigue, though he wasn't attracted to Misty. He was having way too much fun. Misty grabbed some of the lube and placed a generous amount on the dildo, and then rode it when it was stuck onto the bathroom wall, inching his way in as he discussed earlier. Gray's eyes went wide as Misty worked his way up the dildo, and he grunted in pleasure as it stimulated his prostate. Misty was quite enthusiastic about his progress, and there was a thrill up his spine being naked in front of Gray and taking the dildo up his ass. It did feel good, and as he stimulated his nipples and stroked his smaller length, he came too soon and all over the shower floor. Misty panted on his high before slipping the dildo out and looking at Gray in the eyes.
What do you think?
Misty asked with a cheeky grin. I think this is going to be an interesting friendship, Gray smiled.